Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for this moment to speak with you today. Have you ever wondered why you are not where you think you should be? Have you ever asked, why am I being overlooked, or why does it feel like the world is passing me by? If you have, you are not alone. Many of us have experienced seasons where we feel hidden, forgotten, or even abandoned. But I want to tell you today, God hides you for a reason. Let me begin with a truth that should comfort every heart here today. God's process for your life is a process of preparation. In our world, we often desire to be seen, acknowledged, and celebrated, but let me remind you, God is more concerned with your character than with your visibility. He sees something in you that the world may not see yet. And often when the world does not see you, it's because God is preparing you for something greater. When we look at nature, we see how God works in the same way. Think about a seed. A seed is planted in the soil, hidden away from the eyes of the world. No one sees the root systems growing. No one sees the small shoots breaking through the earth. But in that hidden time, the seed is growing, being nurtured, and developing the strength it needs to stand tall in the light. So it is with your life. God hides you because He is growing you. He is building your roots. He is refining you. In that hidden season, you are being molded into the person He needs you to become. In our time of hiddenness, we learn to trust God more deeply. We learn patience, we learn humility, we learn how to stand when no one is watching, and how to remain faithful when the world offers us no applause. Isolation is not rejection, it is preparation. God is not hiding you out of neglect, He is hiding you out of love. He is protecting you from harm, from the distractions that could pull you away from your true calling. In the quiet, in the dark, in the moments when it feels like nothing is happening, God is doing something profound. He is preparing you for your moment. And when that moment comes, when He reveals you to the world, you will be ready. You will be strong. You will be equipped with the wisdom and understanding that only comes from being hidden in His presence. Remember this, God never reveals before the time is right. The story of Joseph is a perfect example of this. He was hidden away in a pit, in a prison, for years before God elevated him to a position of influence. But those years of being hidden prepared him for the weight of the crown He would eventually wear. You may be in your pit right now. You may be in a place where no one sees you, no one understands you, but God is at work. And let me tell you this, God hides you for His glory. He wants you to know, and the world to know, that it was not by your own power, but by His grace and preparation that you came to be where you are. When you are revealed, people will see God's hand on you. They will see the transformation that has taken place in you. And they will be in awe, not of you, but of the God who was working in you when no one else could see it. So, if you feel hidden today, if you feel overlooked, if you feel like you're not where you should be, trust that it is all part of God's plan. He hides you for a reason. He is preparing you for a purpose greater than you can imagine. You are not forgotten. You are being prepared. When the time is right, God will reveal you, not before. And when He does, your purpose will be clear. Your influence will be vast. And His glory will shine through your life in ways you never thought possible. Trust the process, embrace the hiddenness, and know that God is preparing you for greatness. Before anything is exposed to the world, there is always a purpose that precedes it. In life, we often desire to be seen, acknowledged, and recognized by others. We want to showcase our talents, share our ideas, and make an impact. However, there is a divine order to everything. God's process is designed with purpose before exposure. When we are hidden, it is not because we are insignificant or unimportant. On the contrary, it is because our purpose is too great to be revealed prematurely. Exposure too early can lead to distractions, temptations, or even failure. God knows that before we step into the light, He must first equip us with the right tools, the right heart, and the right understanding of who we are. He does not want us to be a flash in the pan, a temporary success that fades away. He wants our purpose to stand the test of time, to endure and flourish when the world sees it. Consider the development of a tree. The seed does not sprout immediately upon being planted. Instead, it goes through a process of germination, rooting, and growing, all while hidden beneath the soil. If the tree were to be exposed too early, it would not have the strength to weather the storms or bear the fruit it was meant to produce. Similarly, God hides us so that we can mature, strengthen our foundations, and be fully ready for the responsibility that exposure brings. We may not understand why we have to wait, why we are not yet in the position we dream of, but there is a divine timing that is far more accurate and precise than our own. Just like a seed that needs time to grow into a strong and fruitful tree, we need time to develop into the individuals we are meant to be. Our gifts, our character, our ability to handle success, all these things are shaped during the hidden seasons. When God reveals you, it will not be by accident, nor will it be too soon. It will be when the time is right. You will step into the purpose He has carefully crafted for you, and it will make a difference not just in your life, but in the lives of others. There is a profound truth in the idea that isolation is not a place of abandonment, but rather a space for refinement. In the hidden seasons of life, when we feel isolated or removed from the world's gaze, God is often doing His deepest work in us. Isolation becomes the crucible where our character is refined, where impurities are burned away, and where the raw material of our lives is shaped into something of value. During times of isolation, we are not left alone to struggle with our purpose. Instead, it is in these solitary moments that God often strips away distractions, allowing us to focus entirely on Him. It's here that He molds us, not just our skills, but our hearts, our attitudes, and our perspectives. While the world sees isolation as a negative, God uses it as a place to remove the things in us that would hinder our growth and effectiveness in the future. He works on the hidden parts of us, the inner struggles, the pride, the insecurities that may not be visible to others, but can deeply affect the way we live out our purpose. Consider how gold is purified. Gold must be placed in the fire to remove the impurities and reveal its true radiant beauty. Similarly, isolation can feel like a fire, a time of testing where we are stretched and refined. It may feel uncomfortable, even painful, but the result is worth it. What emerges from this refining process is a stronger, more resilient version of ourselves, one capable of withstanding the pressures and challenges that will come when we step into our calling. In isolation, we learn to lean fully on God, recognizing that without Him, we are weak, but with Him, we are strong. It is a time where our dependency on God deepens, and we begin to trust Him more completely with our lives. We learn to develop patience, to wait for His timing, and to listen carefully to His guidance. It's often in these quiet moments, away from the noise of the world, that God speaks the clearest. Isolation helps to refine our understanding of our true identity. When no one else is around to define us, to validate us, or to give us worth, we must come to the realization that our value does not come from external applause or recognition. Our worth is determined by God alone. This understanding is what shapes our inner security and prepares us to walk confidently in our purpose without seeking validation from the world. Isolation is not a punishment, it is preparation. It is in this season of solitude that we are tested, purified, and prepared for the greater purpose God has in store for us. God does not waste a moment in the process. Every minute of isolation is part of His refining work, shaping us to be vessels of honor, equipped to carry the weight of the assignment He will one day reveal to us. In the end, the isolation we face today will lead to the strength, wisdom, and character we need to fulfill our destiny tomorrow. It is in the quiet, in the hidden places, that God does His most transformative work in us. And when the time is right, He will reveal us to the world, not as we once were, but as we have become through His refining process. Sometimes the periods when we feel hidden or isolated are actually times of divine protection. While the world may view our absence from the spotlight as a setback, God may be keeping us out of sight to shield us from potential harm, distractions, or premature exposure. The protection that comes in these hidden seasons is not always obvious, but it is vital for our growth, safety, and long-term success. There are many dangers that can arise when we step into limelight too soon, whether it's the temptation of pride, the pressure to perform, or the envy of others. In the hidden season, God is often shielding us from these dangers. He knows that we may not yet be prepared to handle the scrutiny, the expectations, or the negativity that comes with public visibility. Like a parent who keeps a child in a safe space until they are mature enough to handle the world outside, God's hiding of us is an act of love and care. God also protects us from harmful relationships or situations that could derail our purpose. At times we may be surrounded by people or circumstances that seem good on the surface, but they can actually hinder our progress or mislead us. When God hides us, it's often a safeguard to prevent us from entering into the wrong partnerships or making decisions that could lead us away from His perfect plan. He allows us to be away from certain influences so we can focus on Him and on what He is calling us to become. Protection from harm doesn't only refer to physical danger, it also applies to emotional and spiritual harm. In the hidden seasons, God is often shielding us from emotional wounds that we may not be able to handle yet. The rejection, criticism, or judgment of others can be painful, and without the proper foundation, it can knock us off course. God, in His wisdom, knows that we need time to develop emotional resilience and spiritual maturity before we face such challenges. He protects us from these trials until we are strong enough to withstand them. We may not always see the hand of God protecting us during these times, but if we look closely, we will begin to realize that the delays, the closed doors, and the moments when we felt unseen or unimportant were actually times of protection. God, in His grace, is keeping us from situations that could harm our well-being or derail our future. In essence, His protection is not about keeping us away from challenges forever, but preparing us to face them in His perfect timing, equipped with the strength and wisdom needed to overcome. Just as a plant is protected in the dark soil while it grows strong roots before being exposed to the sun, we too are hidden for a season to build our foundation, safeguard our hearts, and equip us for what lies ahead. The time of hiddenness is not a wasted time, it is a time of divine protection, where God is actively watching over us, guiding us, and ensuring that we are ready for the responsibilities and opportunities that will come when the time is right. It is in these seasons of protection that we are prepared to stand firm, unshaken and unafraid, ready to step into the fullness of our purpose. There is a wisdom in God's timing that we often do not fully understand. In a world where instant gratification and quick success are highly valued, it's easy to become frustrated when it feels like we are not being recognized or exposed. However, God knows that premature exposure can be damaging. When we are revealed before we are fully prepared, we can face many challenges that we may not be equipped to handle. Premature exposure can lead to a number of issues, most notably the pressure of expectations. When we are placed in the spotlight too soon, we often feel the weight of the world's demands on us. People may begin to judge us before we are ready to handle their scrutiny. We may find ourselves acting in ways that are inconsistent with who we truly are because we are still in the process of becoming who we are meant to be. God, in His infinite wisdom, withholds our exposure to spare us from this pressure and to allow us the time to grow in character and maturity. He wants us to be authentic in our calling, not merely performing to meet the expectations of others. Exposure before our time can open the door to dangerous temptations. The world can be a harsh and testing place, especially for those who are unprepared. Fame, recognition, and influence can bring with them not just blessings, but also the potential for great harm, whether through temptations, envy, or distractions that pull us away from our purpose. In our hidden season, God is keeping us protected from these things, allowing us the space to build the inner strength and spiritual maturity we need to withstand the challenges that come with exposure. Premature exposure can also lead to failure. Sometimes we think we are ready to take on the world, but in reality, we lack the necessary skills, wisdom, or emotional resilience. When we are thrust into the public eye before we are equipped, we risk falling short of our potential and may even experience setbacks that could discourage us. God hides us not out of neglect, but out of love to protect us from failing before our time. He understands that failure can be a painful teacher, and He wants to ensure that when we are revealed, we are ready to handle the responsibility and expectations that will come our way. Exposure too early can distort our perception of success. We may begin to believe that our worth is tied to recognition and approval from others. In the hidden seasons, God teaches us that our true value is not determined by the world's applause, but by His love and calling on our lives. If we were exposed too soon, we might begin to seek validation from others rather than from God, leading us down a path of insecurity and misplaced priorities. God's plan for us includes a timing that is perfect and intentional. He understands the exact moment when we will be ready for the exposure that will allow us to step into our purpose with confidence and maturity. The process of preparation of growth and hiddenness is not a delay but a necessary part of the journey. It's in the waiting that we gain wisdom, strength, and perspective, things that will allow us to navigate the challenges of exposure with grace, humility, and the ability to impact the world in the way that God intends. In essence, God's purpose in avoiding premature exposure is to protect us from the dangers of stepping into something we are not yet ready for. His desire is not to keep us hidden forever, but to ensure that when we are revealed, we will be fully prepared to fulfill our destiny. Waiting for the right time to step into the light is not a sign of weakness or delay, but of divine preparation. When we trust God's timing and allow Him to hide us for a season, we can be confident that we will emerge at the perfect moment equipped, mature, and ready to carry the weight of our purpose. Waiting on God's timing can be one of the most challenging and at the same time, one of the most rewarding aspects of our spiritual journey. In a culture that emphasizes speed and immediate results, we are often tempted to rush ahead, to take matters into our own hands, or to force opportunities before their time. Yet waiting on God's timing is an act of trust, acknowledging that He knows what is best for us and that His plan is far greater than anything we could engineer on our own. There are times when we feel like we are ready to step into a new season, to pursue a goal, or to take on a responsibility. But God's silence or delay can be perplexing. We may wonder why things are not happening according to our timeline, and it's easy to become frustrated or discouraged. However, waiting is never wasted when it is done in God's presence. It is in these seasons of waiting that God shapes our hearts, molds our character, and teaches us lessons that are crucial for our future. God's timing is always perfect, even when it doesn't align with our own understanding. He sees the bigger picture, the entire landscape of our lives, and knows the exact moment when we will be ready to step into the next phase of our destiny. When we try to move ahead of His timing, we risk missing key opportunities for growth and development. God knows that in His perfect timing, everything will fall into place in a way that we could never orchestrate ourselves. Waiting also teaches us patience. It teaches us to trust God, not just for the outcome, but in the process. We learn that our lives are not on our schedule, but on His. In the waiting, we learn to rely on Him more deeply, to seek His guidance, and to grow in our understanding of His ways. Often, the waiting period is when we experience the deepest spiritual growth, because it is in these moments that we are forced to lean into God in ways that we might not do when things are moving quickly. Waiting on God's timing helps us to prepare for the responsibility that the future will bring. We may think we are ready now, but God sees the areas of our character and abilities that need refinement before we can be entrusted with the fullness of our calling. Waiting gives us time to build the foundation that will support the weight of our purpose when it is finally revealed. It gives us space to become the person who can handle the blessings, opportunities, and challenges that God has prepared for us. The delay in our lives isn't a sign of God's neglect or inability to fulfill His promises. Rather, it is a sign of His care and concern for us. He is protecting us from stepping into something before we are fully equipped. He is preparing us for a future that is greater than what we can imagine, and in the waiting, we gain the strength, wisdom, and character needed to walk in that future with integrity and effectiveness. Sometimes waiting on God's timing also means waiting for the right people, circumstances, or opportunities to align. There are things that need to fall into place in the background that we may not see. God is orchestrating things behind the scenes to set everything up perfectly so that when the time comes, it will be exactly as it should be. The waiting period gives us a chance to trust not only in His timing, but in His ability to move things around us in ways that we cannot. When we wait on God, we are also reminded that His plans for us are far greater than our own plans. We might be focused on what we want to achieve or when we want to achieve it, but God's vision for our lives is more expansive and more impactful than anything we could conceive. The time we spend waiting on Him becomes a time of preparation for something beyond our comprehension. We are being shaped to walk into a purpose that will not only bless us, but also those around us. Waiting on God's timing is an act of surrender. It is saying, God, I trust that your plan is better than my own. I trust that you are working all things together for my good, even when I don't understand the delays. Waiting refines our trust in God's goodness, His faithfulness, and His perfect understanding of what we need and when we need it. When we allow God's timing to unfold, we can be confident that when the time comes for our purpose to be revealed, we will be fully prepared, fully equipped, and ready to step into it with confidence. Building strength in the secret place is one of the most transformative aspects of our spiritual walk. In the quiet moments when no one is watching, God is doing His most profound work in us. The secret place is where our true character is shaped, where our faith is tested, and where we build a deep, personal connection with God that prepares us for what lies ahead. It is often in these hidden seasons that God equips us with the strength we need to face the challenges of life. And it's here that our inner foundation is laid. The secret place is where we learn to rely on God alone. In a world filled with noise, distractions, and external validation, the secret place offers a sanctuary of solitude where we can hear the still small voice of God. It is in this quiet space that we discover that our strength does not come from our abilities, our achievements, or the praise of others, but from a deep, abiding relationship with God. He is the source of our strength, and the secret place is where we learn to tap into that strength through prayer, worship, and meditative reflection on His Word. In the secret place, we are confronted with our own weaknesses, doubts, and fears. God allows these vulnerabilities to surface not to shame us, but to refine us. In the hidden seasons, He strengthens our faith and teaches us how to stand firm, even when the storms of life seem overwhelming. It is here that we wrestle with our own insecurities, and through that process, we emerge stronger and more resolute in our trust in God's promises. When we face difficulty in the secret place, God is preparing us to face even greater battles in the future. Each challenge we overcome in isolation strengthens our spiritual muscles, preparing us to handle larger assignments when the time comes for us to be revealed. The secret place is where God builds perseverance in us. When we are hidden from the eyes of others, we are called to remain faithful in the little things. God uses these seasons of waiting, when nothing seems to be happening outwardly, to test our commitment and devotion. In the absence of visible results or recognition, we must learn to keep going simply because we trust God, not because we see immediate rewards. This is where perseverance is cultivated. The strength we build in the secret place comes from learning to be faithful in the unseen moments, trusting that God is working even when we cannot see the fruits of our labor. Through the secret place, God also teaches us how to fight spiritual battles. Just as athletes train in private to prepare for competition, we too must train in the secret place to build the spiritual endurance needed for the challenges we will face. Prayer, fasting, worship, and scripture meditation are the tools we use to build our spiritual muscles, and it is in these moments of private discipline that we are being equipped to fight the battles of life with wisdom, courage, and the power of God's presence. These seasons of preparation may feel like they are going unnoticed, but they are foundational to the victories that await us in the public sphere. As we grow in strength in the secret place, we also gain clarity of purpose. The time we spend alone with God helps to refine our calling and gives us a clearer understanding of His plans for our lives. The secret place is where God speaks to us deeply about who we are, what we are called to do, and how He wants to use our lives for His glory. It is in these quiet moments that we receive direction, guidance, and vision for the future. Without these moments of intimacy with God, we might rush ahead without a clear sense of purpose, but in the secret place, God strengthens us with the clarity and conviction we need to fulfill our calling. The strength we build in the secret place isn't just for our own benefit. It is ultimately for the sake of others. God is preparing us to impact the world, but first He must ensure that we are rooted and grounded in Him. The strength He builds in us during our times of hiddenness is not meant to be kept to ourselves, but is meant to be poured out for others. When we emerge from the secret place, we do so with the strength, wisdom, and compassion that only God can provide. We are equipped to serve, to lead, and to make a difference in the lives of those around us. In the end, the secret place is not a place of loneliness or abandonment, but a place of preparation and strength building. It is in these quiet, hidden moments that God equips us to do His work in the world. The strength we develop in the secret place is the foundation for everything we will do in the future. It is the place where we become who God intended us to be. And when the time comes for us to step into the light, we will be ready. Not because of our own abilities, but because of the strength we have gained in the secret place with God. Divine preparation for a larger assignment is a process that often takes place in the hidden, quiet, and sometimes uncomfortable seasons of life. God does not call us to something grand without first equipping us for it, and his method of preparation is rarely instantaneous. Instead, it is a journey that involves growth, learning, and sometimes even waiting. Before we are given a larger responsibility, opportunity, God works in us to shape our character, refine our skills, and build the strength we need to fulfill the greater purpose he has for us. The first part of divine preparation involves a deep internal work that happens within us. God prepares our hearts before he prepares our hands for the work ahead. He knows that the greater the assignment, the greater the need for inner stability. Without a solid foundation of character, integrity, and humility, we would not be able to handle the pressures and responsibilities that come with a larger role. In the process of divine preparation, God often tests our motives, our patience, and our willingness to trust him fully. He wants to make sure that when the larger assignment comes, we are not seeking fame, recognition, or personal glory, but are focused on serving his purpose. During this time of preparation, God also teaches us how to handle smaller tasks and responsibilities. Many times we may feel that the work we are doing is insignificant or not aligned with our dreams and aspirations. However, God uses these smaller tasks to refine us, teaching us discipline, diligence, and faithfulness. He watches how we handle the little things because our response to them reveals whether we trust him with more significant responsibilities. When we remain faithful in the small assignments, we build the integrity and discipline necessary to manage larger ones. Divine preparation involves learning from our experiences, both successes and failures. God uses every situation to teach us valuable lessons that will equip us for the larger assignment. The challenges and obstacles we face are not wasted. Instead, they serve as opportunities for growth, resilience, and problem solving. God doesn't want us to be caught off guard when we face difficulties in the future. Instead, he prepares us by allowing us to experience trials that teach us how to stand firm, how to overcome adversity, and how to trust in his provision. Another crucial aspect of divine preparation is equipping us with the skills and knowledge necessary for the larger assignment. While the internal work is vital, God also desires for us to be equipped practically for the task at hand. This can involve education, training, mentorship, or hands-on experience. God opens doors for us to learn new things or refine the skills we already have so that we are prepared for the larger responsibility he has for us. Sometimes this preparation involves stepping into roles that seem unrelated to our future calling, but through these experiences we gain wisdom and expertise that will serve us later on. During the preparation process, God also aligns the people and resources we will need for the larger assignment. He brings the right people into our lives, mentors, colleagues, friends, and partners who will help us grow, encourage us, and support us. These relationships provide invaluable insight and encouragement during the times when we feel unsure or inadequate. God prepares us by surrounding us with a community that will help us navigate the challenges ahead and remind us of our purpose. In addition to the practical and relational preparation, God also works on our emotional and spiritual readiness. The larger the assignment, the greater the pressure and challenges. God prepares us emotionally by helping us develop resilience, emotional intelligence, and the ability to lead with compassion. He strengthens our spiritual life so that when we step into the larger assignment, we are rooted in him, relying on his wisdom, guidance, and strength. Through personal prayer, reflection, and time in his word, we grow spiritually and are equipped to lead others from a place of humility, integrity, and love. Divine preparation for a larger assignment often takes longer than we expect. It is a season of waiting, of trusting God's timing, and of developing patience. We may feel like we are ready for the bigger task, but God knows the exact moment when we will be fully prepared to step into the role he has for us. The waiting period is not wasted, it is a time of active preparation, both seen and unseen, where God is preparing us in ways we may not even realize. When the time comes for the larger assignment to be revealed, we will be ready not because of our own abilities, but because God has done a deep work in us to prepare us for the responsibility. We will have the character, the skills, the wisdom, and the emotional resilience to handle the challenges and opportunities that come with it. The greater the assignment, the greater the preparation, and through this process, we are not only being prepared for the task itself, but also being shaped into the person God intends us to be. The larger assignment is not just about fulfilling a purpose, it's about becoming the person capable of carrying that purpose with grace, integrity, and faithfulness. Divine preparation is a process of becoming. It is the season where God shapes us from the inside out, preparing us for the greater things He has in store. When we trust the process, embrace the waiting, and allow God to refine us, we can step into the larger assignment with confidence, knowing that we have been carefully prepared for the calling He has placed on our lives. Understanding true value is crucial in shaping how we see ourselves, others, and the world around us. In a society that often measures worth by external accomplishments, material success, or the approval of others, it can be easy to lose sight of what truly matters. However, true value is not found in what we possess or the accolades we receive, but in the intrinsic worth given to us by God. This understanding helps us navigate life with a deeper sense of purpose, confidence, and fulfillment. True value begins with recognizing that every person is created with purpose and intent. Each individual has unique qualities, gifts, and a divine calling that contributes to the broader picture of God's plan. Our value is not based on our social status, career, or external achievements, but on the fact that we are fearfully and wonderfully made in the image of God. When we begin to view ourselves from this perspective, we realize that our worth is not contingent on the fluctuating opinions of others or the ever-changing standards of society. Instead, it is anchored in our identity as children of God, loved unconditionally and with purpose. This understanding of true value also frees us from the trap of comparison. When we understand our own worth, we can celebrate the success of others without feeling diminished or inadequate. Comparison often leads to envy and discontent, causing us to overlook our own blessings and strengths. By recognizing that each person's journey is unique and that our value is not based on what others have or do, we can focus on our own growth and contribution. True value is not found in competing with others, but in embracing who we are and using our gifts to make a positive impact in the world. Understanding true value helps us avoid placing too much importance on material possessions or achievements. While it is not wrong to strive for success or to enjoy the good things in life, we must remember that these external things do not define our worth. In a world that often idolizes wealth, status, and power, it's easy to get caught up in the pursuit of these things. However, true value lies in our character, integrity, and the love we share with others. The most meaningful aspects of life are often intangible, like kindness, compassion, and the way we make others feel. Understanding our true value also has a profound impact on how we treat others. When we see our own value in God's eyes, we are more likely to see the inherent worth in those around us. We begin to view others not as competition or obstacles, but as individuals with their own unique value and potential. This perspective shifts our approach to relationships, encouraging empathy, respect, and understanding. True value is rooted in seeing people as they are valuable and worthy of love, not because of what they can offer us, but simply because they are God's creation. True value also encompasses the idea of being stewards of the gifts and opportunities we've been given. God entrusts us with talents, abilities, and resources not to elevate ourselves, but to serve others and fulfill our purpose. Understanding our value helps us recognize that everything we have is meant to be used for a greater good. Whether it's our time, skills, or influence, these gifts are tools for making a difference in the world, and our value is measured by how we use them to fulfill God's calling in our lives. The foundation of true value is knowing that it cannot be earned or lost through performance. Our value is not based on how well we do things, but on who we are in God's eyes. Even when we fall short, make mistakes, or face setbacks, our worth remains the same. This understanding frees us from the burden of perfectionism and helps us embrace our flaws, knowing that they do not diminish our value. In fact, it is often in our weaknesses and failures that God's grace is most evident, reminding us that our value is not tied to our success, but to God's love and purpose for us. Understanding true value changes the way we face challenges and setbacks. When we are grounded in the knowledge of our intrinsic worth, we are less likely to be shaken by difficult circumstances or the opinions of others. We understand that we are valuable, not because of what we accomplish, but because of who we are in Christ. This understanding provides the strength and resilience needed to persevere through trials, knowing that God has a plan for us that is greater than any temporary setback. True value is rooted in our identity in God. When we come to understand that our worth is not dependent on external factors, but on the love and purpose that God has placed in us, we are set free to live with confidence, compassion, and purpose. This understanding helps us make better decisions, build healthier relationships, and live with a deeper sense of fulfillment. When we understand our true value, we can live with the knowledge that we are exactly who we were meant to be, and that we have the potential to make a significant impact in the world around us. Training for impact is a process that prepares us to make a significant difference in the world, equipping us with the skills, knowledge, and character necessary to influence others positively. Impact does not happen by accident. It requires intentional preparation. Whether we are called to lead, serve, or contribute in any capacity, training is essential to ensure that we are capable of handling the responsibilities and opportunities that come our way. True impact is not only about achieving success, but also about creating lasting change that brings glory to God and benefits those around us. The first key element of training for impact is building a strong foundation of character. Character is the bedrock upon which everything else is built. Without integrity, humility, and a sense of purpose, any achievements or positions we attain will lack depth and sustainability. In this process, we learn to align our values with our actions, ensuring that our decisions are guided by a moral compass rooted in our faith. God often uses trials and challenges to refine our character, teaching us perseverance, patience, and resilience. It is in these moments that we are shaped into individuals capable of handling greater responsibility and making an authentic impact. Beyond character, training for impact requires developing the skills necessary for success. Skills such as communication, problem solving, leadership, and critical thinking are invaluable tools that enable us to carry out our calling effectively. This involves both formal and informal learning experiences, from education and mentorship to hands-on experience. Training in these areas equips us to meet the demands of a world that constantly changes and presents new challenges. The more proficient we become in these skills, the more equipped we are to influence and inspire others. Another important aspect of training for impact is the development of emotional intelligence. Being able to understand, manage, and express our emotions, as well as empathize with others, is vital for effective leadership and influence. Emotional intelligence enables us to navigate difficult situations, handle conflicts with grace, and build meaningful relationships that foster collaboration and mutual respect. In a world where people are often struggling with their own emotions and uncertainties, being emotionally intelligent allows us to bring stability and encouragement to others, amplifying our ability to create positive change. Training for impact also involves learning how to work with others. No one can achieve lasting impact alone. Success is often the result of collaboration, teamwork, and the synergy that comes from pooling our strengths with others. Through training, we learn to communicate clearly, listen actively, and offer constructive feedback. Developing these relational skills helps us work in harmony with others, ensuring that we are not only capable of achieving our own goals, but also supporting the success of those around us. Preparation for impact also includes cultivating a sense of vision and purpose. Without a clear understanding of why we do what we do, it is easy to become distracted or discouraged. Training helps us clarify our goals, passions, and the deeper calling behind our actions. A strong sense of purpose keeps us focused and motivated, even when challenges arise. When we understand our purpose, we can direct our energy and resources toward making a difference in ways that align with our values and the greater good. Training for impact requires adaptability and the willingness to learn from mistakes. The journey toward making a meaningful impact is not a straight path. There will be setbacks, failures, and unexpected twists along the way. Training teaches us the importance of resilience and the ability to pivot when necessary. Instead of seeing failure as defeat, we learn to view it as a valuable lesson that provides insight and growth. The ability to adapt and continue moving forward is a hallmark of those who make lasting and meaningful contributions to the world. Spiritual preparation is also a critical aspect of training for impact. As believers, we are called to lead and influence not from our own strength, but through the power of the Holy Spirit. This requires spiritual disciplines such as prayer, worship, and meditation on God's Word. These practices deepen our relationship with God, enabling us to discern His will and lead others with wisdom, humility, and grace. Training in spiritual disciplines empowers us to stay grounded in faith, ensuring that our impact is aligned with God's purposes rather than our own ambitions. One of the most significant components of training for impact is the willingness to serve. True impact is not about seeking recognition or personal gain, but about selflessly serving others. As we train, we are reminded that our influence is meant to elevate others and bring about positive change in their lives. Service builds trust, cultivates respect, and demonstrates humility qualities that enable us to make a lasting impact on those around us. By focusing on the needs of others, we train ourselves to be more compassionate, empathetic, and driven by a desire to help rather than to be served. Training for impact requires an unwavering commitment to excellence. Impact is the result of consistently doing our best in every area of life. Whether in our work, relationships, or personal growth, excellence is the standard we aim for. It is through our commitment to excellence that we earn the respect of others and create an environment where positive change can flourish. Excellence is not about perfection, but about striving to honor God in everything we do and continuously improving ourselves to be better equipped to make a difference. Training for impact is a holistic process that involves character development, skill building, emotional intelligence, relational growth, spiritual preparation, and a deep sense of purpose. The more we train, the more effective we become in making a lasting difference. Our preparation equips us to not only handle greater responsibility, but also to influence and inspire others in meaningful ways. As we grow and develop in these areas, we become better equipped to live out our calling and make the kind of impact that will leave a legacy of positive change for generations to come. The glory in the reveal is the moment when all the hidden preparation, the challenges, the waiting, and the refinement come together to fulfill God's purpose in our lives. It is the moment of exposure, where what was once concealed is brought to light for a greater purpose. Often this reveal comes after a season of preparation that has shaped us into the person we are meant to be. But the glory of the reveal is not simply about the outward recognition, but about how God's hand has been at work behind the scenes. The process of being hidden is often difficult. During these seasons, it may feel like nothing is happening, like we are being overlooked or forgotten. However, God uses these times to refine our character, deepen our faith, and prepare us for something greater. When the time comes for the reveal, it is not just a moment of personal achievement. It is an opportunity to showcase God's work in our lives. It is a testament to His faithfulness, His timing, and His perfect plan for us. We are revealed not only for the world to see, but for God's glory to be magnified through our lives. One of the key aspects of greater glory in the reveal is the transformation that occurs through the process. What is revealed to the world is not merely a polished version of who we were before. It is a version of ourselves that has been made stronger, wiser, and more attuned to God's will. The person who emerges from the hidden season is one who has been tested, refined, and built up for the challenges that lie ahead. The glory in the reveal is rooted in the strength that comes from enduring the trials of preparation. When the moment arrives for us to step into our calling, it is not about showcasing our own abilities, but reflecting the power of God working in us. The greater glory is also in the impact that the reveal has on others. When God reveals His plan for our lives, it is not just for our benefit. It is to bring about transformation in the lives of those around us. Whether in our families, communities, or workplaces, the reveal of God's purpose in our lives serves as an inspiration to others. It demonstrates that God can take any season of hiddenness or struggle and use it for His greater purpose. Others see God's faithfulness and might and are encouraged to trust in His timing and purpose for their own lives. The glory in the reveal is connected to the responsibility that comes with being exposed. As we step into the light, there is an understanding that the larger platform, the bigger assignment, or the greater influence is not for personal gain, but for a higher purpose. The moment of reveal brings with it an increased responsibility to lead, serve, and influence in ways that honor God and impact others for good. The glory is not in the spotlight itself, but in the way we use the opportunities and gifts we have been given to make a difference in the world. Another layer of the greater glory lies in the realization that the reveal happens according to God's perfect timing. We often think we are ready long before the appointed time, but God knows the exact moment when we are truly prepared to step into the fullness of His plan. The timing of the reveal is a testament to God's wisdom. He knows when we are equipped, when our hearts are aligned, and when the world is ready to receive what we have to offer. This divine timing ensures that the impact of the reveal is maximized and that we are able to step forward with confidence, knowing that we are operating within God's will. The greater glory is found in the endurance it takes to wait for the reveal. Waiting often feels like a season of inactivity, but it is actually one of the most vital parts of the process. During the waiting, God strengthens our resolve, teaches us patience, and refines our trust in His perfect plan. When we are finally revealed, it is the culmination of all that God has worked in us during the waiting. We may not have seen the full picture during the hidden season, but looking back, we can see how every step of the process was necessary to bring us to the place of reveal. The greater glory is also in the realization that the reveal is not just a one-time event. It is part of an ongoing process of growth and transformation. Each new stage of life, each new responsibility, and each new opportunity to serve God is another reveal. As we continue to grow in faith and obedience, God reveals new aspects of our calling, new levels of His glory, and new ways to impact the world. The glory of the reveal is not finite. It is a continual unfolding of God's purpose in our lives. The greatest glory in the reveal is the glory that belongs to God alone. When we are revealed to the world, it is not about lifting ourselves up, but about pointing others to the greatness of God. The reveal is an opportunity to show that everything we have, everything we've accomplished, and everything we are is because of God's grace, wisdom, and provision. True glory is not in the self, but in the reflection of God's work in and through us. As we step into the reveal, we must do so with humility, recognizing that the glory belongs to God, and our role is simply to steward the gifts and opportunities He has entrusted to us for His purpose. A greater glory in the reveal is a moment that showcases not only the fulfillment of God's plan, but also the transformation that occurs in us during the hidden seasons. It is a moment of divine timing, purpose, and responsibility. As we are revealed, we are called to use our gifts and opportunities to bring honor to God and make an impact in the world around us. The glory is not in the reveal itself, but in how we reflect God's greatness through our lives. The greater glory comes when we understand that the reveal is a part of a larger story that continues to unfold according to God's perfect plan. Greater glory in the reveal is the moment when all the hidden preparation, the challenges, the waiting, and the refinement come together to fulfill God's purpose in our lives. It is the moment of exposure where what was once concealed is brought to light for a greater purpose. Often this reveal comes after a season of preparation that has shaped us into the person we are meant to be. But the glory of the reveal is not simply about the outward recognition, but about how God's hand has been at work behind the scenes. The process of being hidden is often difficult. During these seasons, it may feel like nothing is happening, like we are being overlooked or forgotten. However, God uses these times to refine our character, deepen our faith, and prepare us for something greater. When the time comes for the reveal, it is not just a moment of personal achievement. It is an opportunity to showcase God's work in our lives. It is a testament to His faithfulness, His timing, and His perfect plan for us. We are revealed not only for the world to see, but for God's glory to be magnified through our lives. One of the key aspects of greater glory in the reveal is the transformation that occurs through the process. What is revealed to the world is not merely a polished version of who we were before. It is a version of ourselves that has been made stronger, wiser, and more attuned to God's will. The person who emerges from the hidden season is one who has been tested, refined, and built up for the challenges that lie ahead. The glory in the reveal is rooted in the strength that comes from enduring the trials of preparation. When the moment arrives for us to step into our calling, it is not about showcasing our own abilities, but reflecting the power of God working in us. The greater glory is also in the impact that the reveal has on others. When God reveals his plan for our lives, it is not just for our benefit, it is to bring about transformation in the lives of those around us. Whether in our families, communities, or workplaces, the reveal of God's purpose in our lives serves as an inspiration to others. It demonstrates that God can take any season of hiddenness or struggle and use it for his greater purpose. Others see God's faithfulness and might and are encouraged to trust in his timing and purpose for their own lives. The glory in the reveal is connected to the responsibility that comes with being exposed. As we step into the light, there is an understanding that the larger platform, the bigger assignment, or the greater influence is not for personal gain, but for a higher purpose. The moment of reveal brings with it an increased responsibility to lead, serve, and influence in ways that honor God and impact others for good. The glory is not in the spotlight itself, but in the way we use the opportunities and gifts we have been given to make a difference in the world. Another layer of the greater glory lies in the realization that the reveal happens according to God's perfect timing. We often think we are ready long before the appointed time, but God knows the exact moment when we are truly prepared to step into the fullness of his plan. The timing of the reveal is a testament to God's wisdom. He knows when we are equipped, when our hearts are aligned, and when the world is ready to receive what we have to offer. This divine timing ensures that the impact of the reveal is maximized and that we are able to step forward with confidence, knowing that we are operating within God's will. The greater glory is found in the endurance it takes to wait for the reveal. Waiting often feels like a season of inactivity, but it is actually one of the most vital parts of the process. During the waiting, God strengthens our resolve, teaches us patience, and refines our trust in his perfect plan. When we are finally revealed, it is the culmination of all that God has worked in us during the waiting. We may not have seen the full picture during the hidden season, but looking back, we can see how every step of the process was necessary to bring us to the place of reveal. The greater glory is also in the realization that the reveal is not just a one-time event. It is part of an ongoing process of growth and transformation. Each new stage of life, each new responsibility, and each new opportunity to serve God is another reveal. As we continue to grow in faith and obedience, God reveals new aspects of our calling, new levels of his glory, and new ways to impact the world. The glory of the reveal is not finite. It is a continual unfolding of God's purpose in our lives. The greatest glory in the reveal is the glory that belongs to God alone. When we are revealed to the world, it is not about lifting ourselves up, but about pointing others to the greatness of God. The reveal is an opportunity to show that everything we have, everything we've accomplished, and everything we are is because of God's grace, wisdom, and provision. True glory is not in the self, but in the reflection of God's work in and through us. As we step into the reveal, we must do so with humility, recognizing that the glory belongs to God, and our role is simply to steward the gifts and opportunities he has entrusted to us for his purpose. Greater glory in the reveal is a moment that showcases not only the fulfillment of God's plan, but also the transformation that occurs in us during the hidden seasons. It is a moment of divine timing, purpose, and responsibility. As we are revealed, we are called to use our gifts and opportunities to bring honor to God and make an impact in the world around us. The glory is not in the reveal itself, but in how we reflect God's greatness through our lives. The greater glory comes when we understand that the reveal is a part of a larger story that continues to unfold according to God's perfect plan. In conclusion, the greater glory in the reveal is not just about the exposure of our abilities or accomplishments, but about the transformation that occurs within us during the hidden seasons of preparation. These seasons may be difficult, but they are essential for refining our character, deepening our faith, and preparing us for a greater purpose. When God's timing brings us into the light, it is a testament to his wisdom, faithfulness, and perfect plan for our lives. The glory in the reveal is not for our personal gain, but for God's name to be magnified through us. As we embrace our purpose and use the opportunities given to us, we step forward with humility, knowing that all glory belongs to him. The reveal is not the end, but the beginning of a greater journey, one where we continually grow, impact, and reflect the greatness of God to the world around us.